My name is Jen, and I am on a journey in order to break free from the destructive patterns of disordered eating and in order to embrace a nourishing lifestyle. My roadmap can be described using an acronym of the word Nourisher. So I'm doing daily video blog posts in order to encourage you, equip you, and keep you up to date on my progress. If this content is helpful or encouraging to you, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and sharing with others. It is my deep desire that these videos would help to ignite nourishing transformations in us all.
Hi everybody, and welcome to my Nourisher Check In on location from my car. I am in the middle of grocery shopping actually, and I've got a busy day planned, so wanted to check in and go through my Nourisher Check In with you before the day gets out of hand. So notice emotions. I'm certainly still dealing with some really complex, very challenging relational dynamics that play out usually during the day and during the workday. So still noticing some really complex emotions, shame, fear, really heightened, elevated heart rate, and very, very front and center. A lot of that fight, flight, and freeze response, which for me often comes out as, or I experience it in the moment as a freeze response. So definitely noticing that, but also thanks to rewiring that we'll talk about later, definitely huge payback for some joy cultivation that I will talk about. So opening up to others. Yesterday, nothing too noticeable about this, but did have some good casual interactions, but some great time with my kids. And this also goes into kind of the rewiring my brain later in terms of just cultivating joy. And the big thing here, maybe I should just jump right into that, was cultivating play. So I'll press a pause on that. Understanding the cycle. Again, the cycle is just, I feel like it's still something like the shadow that irks or lurks behind me. It could just nab me at any time. So even today, as I'm grocery shopping, I often feel, do you ever feel like really overwhelmed by the grocery shopping process? I know some people who struggle with wanting to make sure, that they're getting healthy or organic foods, or that struggle with kind of the orthodoxy of their foods, that can be a problem in grocery shopping. For me, it's more of just this overwhelming sense of responsibility of, okay, I have all of this food and then I have to manage it all and care for it all and use it all well. And so that can feel a little bit overwhelming. So groceries reminds me sometimes of the cycle and reminds me of some of the cravings. Also reminds me of advertisers and how advertisers are, I don't want to say against us, but using all of their tools and tricks in order to lure us into making poor choices. And I saw the golden arches today as I was driving, and immediately it was like Pavlov's dog started to salivate, and just thought, wow, like that's powerful, powerful marketing to be able to have that. And of course, just experiences that I've had that have been able to have that effect. So I have nuts in my bag to help me make wise decisions for the rest of the day. And of course, I try not to grocery shop when I'm hungry, which really helps me make wise decisions when I'm buying healthy foods. Someone also said once that you should always shop the perimeter of the store and try to stay out of the center of the store as much as possible. And I really do that, and I'm proud of that. So that's great. So let's get to rewiring my brain. I promise I'd land here. So yesterday, we went into this week, and last week was all about intensity and managing intense emotions. And so this week I want to take a more proactive stance and do more things that are healthy for my brain to help rewire my brain and to help give it some capacity to be able to handle these intense emotions, because some of these relational dynamics are not going away. They don't just depend on me. So I need greater capacity to be able to handle the intense emotions that come with it. So the one thing that I really prioritized yesterday was to carve out space and time for play. I am very poor at playing, but playing is so regenerative for our brains. So what I did was I did a crock pot meal, did ribs in the crock pot. Maybe I could, there's no real recipe to it, but I could maybe throw that below. Ribs in the crock pot. I had timed rice in the rice cooker and had lettuce ready for a salad. So it was going to be super simple meal. So basically from the time I picked up the kids, I was just free. It was a beautiful day. So there was lots of vitamin D potential from the sun. And we went to a beautiful park that I always really enjoy. And again, just the greenery and being out in nature is restorative in and of itself. We brought the soccer ball and I brought some music and we just played. We played soccer. And I remember when I was in elementary school, we sometimes my friends and I used to make up little like choreographed dances to songs. So I asked the girls, I was like, do you guys want to make up a dance? So it's just so fun to hear all of their ideas and to, kind of choreograph a little dance together. So really trying to prioritize play. And that was so refreshing. And then in the morning, went for a good walk, a really good walk. And, got out some of the physicality of the emotion that needed to be processed, and then had a really good connecting time with God that was just so good and soothing and calming and, full of appreciation. So that was really great. So I did also, in order to help that process of connecting with God, did go through some appreciations. I think yesterday I mentioned the Hammock appreciation memory. And I have this one great memory of a day in the winter when I have really nice warm winter boots that I'm really thankful for. And where I grew up was very cold in the winter, and I was a wimp when it came to winter. But here it can get really snowy and still not be super cold. So I got all bundled up on this super snowy day. It's still snowing. And I went out and it was like the trees were like bending over me, heavy with the snow. And mine were the very first tracks in the snow. And it was just like being in this snow palace. And I was in the midst of the cold, and yet I was warm and cozy and just felt a real connection to God in that moment. And it felt like being in some type of an ice palace, or it was so pretty. And everything was so quiet and peaceful. And so that was the appreciation that I was able to relive. And again, when we go into that appreciation and we describe it and we think through it, our bodies actually can re-enjoy the chemical and the hormones and the neurological dynamics that we enjoyed at that real moment. And so that was just so beautiful to go back to and to remember and to appreciate and to give thanks for. So that was also very, very helpful from a brain perspective. So some appreciation, some connection with God through the Emmanuel process, which I can put a link for below, as well as some play yesterday. And then in the evening, our whole family played dominoes together, Mexican trained dominoes. And that was so, just to look around the table and to see, the look on the family as they're strategizing or as they're smiling, or just to all be together in that way was really, really refreshing for me. I got to sleep early. Look, I'm like bouncing all around, but eating went well. Insulin friendly eating went well. Sleep went great. Went to sleep really early and woke up this morning at like an hour earlier than normal, like just really refreshed, and was actually able to call a really dear friend that I haven't been able to connect with in a long time because of time changes, but it just worked out perfectly. So I felt great about that. Hydration went really well yesterday, and yes, herbal tea counts. So I had a bunch of herbal tea just sipping while I was at home, had my water bottles all ready to go at the door, so drank them throughout the day, and today refilled them and have them with me. Even beside me. I always say it's easy to hydrate in the car. So hydration went really well. Exercise went great. Had a great walk. And just kept that, why am I doing this? Because of that reward of increase, this nourishing lifestyle. Really, it isn't easy, but it is good. It is very good relationally, spiritually, physically, mentally. And so it was good to remember. So I hope that you had a wonderful day. And if you didn't, then, from someone who, at least from my own experience, knows what those really hard days are like, then please know that I am cheering for you and rooting for you. And tomorrow is a new day, and there are new mercies, and we can start again. And I hope that you'll find someone that you can reach out to and find some support from. And thank you for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you